Hey everybody, it's Andy's Free Guitar Chart Videos here, and today we're going to be looking at chart 538. This is a new way of looking at the same problem we've been working on the past couple of lessons, and that is the blues and the substitutions, mainly the shadowing, but also the pent substitutions. Chart 538, Tripent Blues Shadow Shape Shadowing Blues Master Key, BMRK. So what I've done here is, well, let me look at this. We got blues notes, string shapes, okay. RKB is the root key of the blues. That's your cage tripents. That's these guys, but these guys are just the normal cage tripents. But when we play them in the blues, you know, they're the blues chords if we play seventh chords all the time. Like this. That would be just C, E shaped, you know. These are the regular cage shapes. Okay, E, A to C. Now here we have a half shape on that C. But today we've got the opportunity to learn how to get around that half shape when we're doing a blues. We don't have to do a half shape blues scale because the shadowing starts from the shape and goes up a minor third. So we're going to start from that half shape. Let's look at it. E to A to C. Now here's your C half shape. I'm going to play it gently so it doesn't cause distortion in the speakers. But if we want to do the blues scale for that half shape C, we just start a C up here. So we go. Okay, so we've got that out of the mud. So that's one of the benefits of the shadowing. And we got D cross A. So these are our regular root key of the blues, and as I was just saying, well, put me down here. As I was just saying, we can take those shapes as dominant chords, all of them, dominant seventh chords. So this is a regular tripentatonic root key of the blues. Now, what have we here? Okay, up top here we just have a guitar fretboard up there. All right, now let's look. We always like to look up top here and see what the situation is going to throw at us, right? So I have root key of the blues here with the D, G, and the A here, starting with 2. So if I put the capo on a 2, because I'm down C tune, so here's E, here's D, here's C. If I put the capo on a D here, that's nice. And we can play this D chord there, but it's really a D-shaped C. It's a D-shaped chord on my guitar, okay? So we would have a D chord there. If we wanted to do a long D pentatonic, we'd have to play the long scale. If we want to play a diatonic, 2, 3, 4, okay, 5, 6, then up to that 7, right up here. Instead of this 7, because we have the fret nut there, okay, and then we start again with root 2, 3, easy, 4, 5, 6, or we can go 4, 5, and then cut out of that string shape and just go 6, 7, root 2, 3, 4. Alright, so that's a peculiarity about the D-Box. We don't have that problem on every single one of them, but we have it on most of them. We have the G chord. We still have to take a long, extra long string shape here, 5, 6, 7, because we've got the fret nut here and we can't get to this 7, and things like that. Now with the C-Box, we don't have that problem. But let's look at what's going on with the root key of the blues, C cross E cross G. Okay, so now we would want to move the capo up to the 3, or the E in the key of C is third. We got C, and then an E-shaped F, and then a G-shaped G. Now, when we go to the root pent key, we've got some rules to get, but look how it falls right into place. D cross G cross A. We don't have to look at the complicated box yet, but we're not out of that yet. We do have to look at the complicated box. But it's as simple as the blues pent key. And actually, I've renamed this as the blues master key. So the blues master key is blues pent key 1, blues pent key 2, blues pent key 5, rather, blues pent key 4, and then 5. We call the blues pent key 5 the blues master key. That's the old blues master key. So how do these come about? Where do these blues keys come about? We take a C chord here, make it a minor, and go to its relative major up here. When you go minor to a relative major, you're adding one pentatonic letter shape in a pentatonic scale. Okay, so if we start with C major, okay, and then we wanted to make that like a C minor, okay, then we want to go to the relative of that C is going to go on up to a D shape. All right, so we're going to want a D shape relative of that minor C. Okay, so that's where our D shape comes into place, and then we can just employ 1, 4, 5 on that D shape there. Okay, so even though we have a C chord here, and normally when we play that D, we're going to have to play that long pattern we just played. We don't have to play that because the D pent blues starts one shape up. So what we've got is, here's our C, and then D. Okay. Blues note is the same note, but it becomes a different string shape, because remember we started on this 4 for the D pent blues, but we're doing it D pentatonic, so D pentatonic is 2, 3, 5, 6, root 2, 3, 5, 6, root 2. See how the blues now falls on the D string shape there in the D box. So we have that for all three here, okay? And it also changes with 1, 4, 5 here, but it follows pretty much the same rule that when we go from a C to an E, we don't usually play the blues note with the root key of the blues, but we certainly can. The E string shape then becomes what? Root 2. So it's really a 2 flat for the E string shape there for the 4th. So let's look at this little chart I made this morning. And it just shows us that when we got the root key of the blues, our string shape that has the blues note is the C string shape. So it's, here's your C, so your C string shape's on the bottom, 3, 4, 5, and that blues note's going to be in between 4 and 5, so it'll be, it's like that kind of, you know, you got all 4 of those notes there. We want to find that string shape. It's going to be on the 4, 5, C string shape everywhere you go. Okay, so let's see what's going on here. When we employ the root pent key, the blues pent key here, we're going to go up 1 cage shape. Let's look at and see where that happens. That happens over here. Okay. This is our shapes, our regular root key of the blues shapes. Root key of the blues 1. Okay, from there, If we go up one pent shape, we get blues pent key 1. So if we're in C, we go up one pent shape, C goes to D again, okay, right there, right here, plus one pent, C, go this way, and if that loops around, it goes C to D. See how it's going in that direction. So we've got the D shape for the pent blues pent key 1. For blues pent key 4, we're going to go cage 2 positions, okay, so which is a fifth. So from C, which is our root key of the blues root, we're going to go the fifth, 2 of these guys, 1, 2, we're going to go to the G, okay, and that is the fifth of C. And then to get to the root key of the blues, or the blues magic key 5, we're going to add 1 caged. Cage goes this way, pentatonic goes this way, C, D, E, G, A, C, D, E, G, A. Cage goes counterclockwise, C, A, G, E, D, C, A, G, E, D. We're going to go counterclockwise 1 position, C goes to A. That's 1 caged. So that would be the 5th position. Let's see how that works out. And by the way, in that 5th position, we'll be in an A position because C add 1 caged. You get the A. That blues note is now going to be on 5/6 count of that A, if you want to count in that A shape and that A string shape. The 4th is going to be on the 6/7, not the 7 we discussed on the 5th of the root key. It's going to be a nice, big, fat blues note between 6 and 7 on that G shape, and the D shape is going to be, because these are all the same note. These are all the same note. So let's look at C. Okay, we'll look at C right there.